The family-owned Lordways Holdings Limited, based in Lordways, Richmond County, truly epitomizes entrepreneurial spirit. Lester Martel and his wife Carolyn, his two sons Blair and Claude, and daughter Aileen are the majority shareholders of a number of businesses that fall under the main holding company. Lobsters R Us, Atlantic Automation Limited, and Caper Electric and Controls Limited are just some of the businesses owned and managed by the Martels. Lester Martel, the family patriarch, left school at the age of 14 to pursue a career on the sea. He fished shell and ground fish for nearly 15 years, but in the mid-60s, he made the decision to pursue contract work in the rapidly developing eastern U.S. Lester and Carolyn had their firstborn, Blair, while living in New Jersey. They resided there for several years, but yearned to return to Richmond County, and so they eventually made the move home. They were an industrious pair from the onset. They purchased a school bus and established Martel's bus service to transport students to the vocational school located in Port Hawkesbury. The couple successfully sought out and obtained new contracts and soon owned a growing fleet of buses catering to both the educational and charter service markets. During this period, they had two more children, Claude and Aileen. Lester soon realized he missed his true passion, fishing, and set out to establish himself in the marine sector. He purchased a lobster and ground fishing license and later added a crab license along with a fishing boat to his portfolio. Carolyn continues to manage the bus charter business that garnered several provincial safety awards.
I left school when I was 14 years old and I went fishing with my brother. Because my dad was ill at that time and we had to support the family. And we continued fishing till today, still fishing. At that time, license cost 25 cents to buy a lobster license. And I figured it was the best investment I ever made in my life.
As the kids matured, they began to show an avid interest in the family businesses. Soon they were cleaning the motor buses, helping out on the boats, and when they were of legal age, drove the buses. In 1990, Lester felt the timing was right to build a lobster pound at the Lordways Wharf so he could wholesale his products, thereby gaining better price margins and distribution control. He eventually sold off the bus company and focused his energies on expanding the fishing business. Claude, an electrician by trade, joined his dad and was soon fishing lobster on a full-time basis. Meanwhile, Blair, an instrumentation technologist, decided to pursue work opportunities with Imperial Oil in Alberta. True to the Martel entrepreneurial spirit, he and a cousin set up the Cape Breton Lobster Company, where they sold lobsters to Western customers. Lobsters that were shipped to him from Claude back in Lordways.
We moved out to Whitecourt, Alberta in 1992, and after 1 year we got hungry for the East Coast delicacy. And we decided to start with my cousin a company called Cape Breton Lobster Company, and we sold lobsters out of the back of a truck in our garage starting, and we developed into a storefront with a full-time employee, and we conducted that probably for 4 years.
In 1996, Blair eventually left Alberta and returned home to set up Lordways Fisheries Limited with his dad and his brother. The family bought a second lobster and ground fish license along with a third fishing vessel. In 2000, Claude established Caper Electric and Controls Limited. At the same time, Blair established Atlantic Automation Limited, where he provides contract service to industrial, commercial, and residential markets. He has a roster of clients that includes Stora Enso, Ocean Nutrition Canada, and Federal Gypsum Company, to name a few. In fact, he has been able to partner with Sean Reed at Mulgrave Machine to carry out specialized hydraulic work for oil rigs in Alberta.
I went out west in 1992 with Imperial Oil as a transfer from Dartmouth Refinery. Did the instrumentation out west and seen the contracting model of work that's exposed in the west. When I returned from out west, I returned and began working for a local instrumentation company to learn the local ropes of doing contracting in Nova Scotia, and from that I branched out to do my own work as we see today.
In 2001, the Martels purchased a third lobster license, while Blair and Claude continued to fish and run the Lobster Pound while also working their own trade-related businesses. And in 2004, expanded their Lobster Pound to include a brand new 6,000 square foot facility which houses offices, retail space, holding tanks, and bays. They invested in the latest marine technology, using laptops with specialized software in all of the boats to provide precise GPS positioning and location indicators for the lobster traps. Lester, in his 70s by this time, initially struggled with the new technology, but this resilient businessman knew he had better get used to it. Today, he says he couldn't do without his computer, and he uses it to coordinate every aspect of his work at sea.
Years ago, we didn't have too much electronics in our boat. We had a compass, and that was it. And we'd take our time and our compass and RPMs, and we'd go to find our gear. Sometimes it was difficulty finding it, but we managed to find it, suffering and that. Now we have computers and all electronic gadgets, and I find it hard at first to understand them. I had a computer in there, and I hadn't used it for a year. It was in the boat. I couldn't get onto it, and I wasn't paying attention to it. And after I learned it, I'd never do without it. So it was great to have all these gadgets now.
This incredible family of entrepreneurs is not finished expanding and diversifying. They are presently constructing additional holding space to handle an additional 75,000 pounds of product, bringing their capacity up to 100,000 pounds. They have added a marine supply shop that serves local fishermen and offer boat repair work during the off-season. Lordways Holding Limited employs 28 full-time and seasonal workers, making them one of the largest employers in the eastern part of Richmond County.